Welcome back to the Bodhi Bros. I'm John with a J.
And I'm Phoenix Ray.
And today, this has become a once-a-year tradition, is it not, Ray? Is that what's happening?
We had Rowan last year.
Last year was Rowan Garlow, and this year it is our very good friend, Tobias Rädisch. And let me tell you a little bit about Tobias, and then we'll jump right into it, because as you all know, the Bodhi Bros are on a budget, so we've got less than 40 minutes to tear this thing apart. All right, Tobias has gone through his own journey of transformation during the past few years, including multiple episodes of depression and subsequent healing. He sporadically works as a voice dialogue facilitator and human design coach, and has now just started a new business together with a friend of his called The Matrix is Real. This business is geared toward helping people on their awakening journey, as well as transforming the world through a new truth movement that takes a different approach than traditional conspiracy movements. Tobias, myself, and Ray all met at a Teal Swan retreat/workshop where we were getting certified to become completion process practitioners. And without any further ado, Tobias, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. So, thanks for letting me be here, first of all. And thanks for making this happen. And I don't know, how should I start? What should I say? Why don't we introduce the...
Yeah. Let's talk about the project. Let's talk about what is the Matrix is Real. What is that?
Okay, that's a good start. Yes. So far, the Matrix is Real is basically an Instagram account, but it's going to turn more into a business in the coming weeks and months. And it's basically it has started with a single idea I had when walking through the street, and I was just feeling basically those words in my head and in my mind. The Matrix is Real. That this is kind of a title which is both a simple message as well as a business. It can be a title. It can be a business name as well as words that actually already contain our truth. And the truth is that the Matrix is real, and that we live in a system which is designed to kind of tap into the human energy field and kind of harvest that energy. And the system is there to manipulate people and to keep them in a limited perspective of life and of being, instead of liberating them and freeing them into love and abundance and power, which is actually what people like us are doing. And so there was this idea born that I wanted to create a movement that actually makes this whole idea of the Matrix, this whole idea of truth and of deeper truth being hidden in our society, that takes this idea and makes it cool for the masses. And that kind of builds a bridge between worlds that so far have been kind of split, intentionally, one might say, have been split apart.
Yeah, I've already seen some stickers.
Yes. And there's content. There's like 15. We have done like 12 posts so far.
Very cool. And I love when stickers become part of the movement, because that feels like so grassroots, man. Like putting it on a pole, putting it on a laptop, just everywhere.
This was the first thing we did, actually. Like we created the stickers first, and then the other things. So we already have like this one product that you can get. So
that's awesome, because a lot of missions, a lot of businesses don't even have that, and it's such a good conversational like icebreaker stuff. Like, what is this? What is this about?
Yeah.
And so I guess the first question that pops to mind is, and we can cover this real quickly. What parallels do you see, like, with the movie franchise and with the business?
So it's a very good question to ask, and puts it very on point. So the movie, probably most people have seen it. Most people that are into this kind of content here. And to make it very short, it's about Neo. It's about this computer guy who wakes up one day realizing, or gets led into this realization, that he's actually living in a computer simulation, and that actually this human civilization has been at war with kind of machines, with AI, and the AI basically won, and they kind of enslaved the humans. They put them like in a computer system, and kind of in a computer world where they actually harvest their physical energy, their body warmth, to keep the machines alive, while at the same time supplying this illusion of a normal society for the human beings to be connected to. And this is the Matrix, and it feels like real life, and they're all living in it. But once you wake up, you realize, oh my God, the world here, it's like the apocalypse, and it's crazy, and we're like fighting this war against the machines.
Right.
And So there are multiple things that you can really compare with the with the real world, and it's actually a very thought through metaphor, almost like a hint into the system we live in. Because first of all, there are dark forces in our world, and I openly say that because I'm 100% convinced that I would say that I know this from experience to some degree. There are dark forces in our world that want to harvest the human energy and the human spirit and the human life force, because we are powerful divine beings who can actually have a big force in ourselves, like our awakening, our realization of God and the universe. Like this is all so powerful that it can be actually harvested and used by, let's say, lower beings who have like strayed from the path of true source and from the path of realization, and they don't know how to get their energy, so they take it from others, and so they install systems over the thousands of years, basically, to actually take that energy. And a lot of people don't know that because they have been brought up in a society where all of those things seem so normal, right? And so people live in this illusion where they think that our politics, that our education system, that our job system, that it's all so normal, but so much of it just rips our dreams apart and takes them away. You grow up as a child, you have all those dreams, then you get pushed into those systems, and they're basically making you obedient slaves to a system that destroys the human spirit. And this is the matrix that many people still don't see. Basically, just put in very small
What do you
words.
think is the biggest what do you think is the biggest obstacle that keeps somebody like locked into the matrix?
I can answer that with a quote from the Matrix. And it and it says, when Morpheus leads Neo through the Matrix, he says many people are so hopelessly dependent on the Matrix that they will do anything to defend it, to defend the system. So it's kind of, once you are in this trauma loop, first of all, I mean, it has two parts, right? The first thing is you are so traumatized that you have become dependent on an outside source for security, for feeling valuable, for having social status and all of those things. This is the first thing. And then you lack the inspiration, you lack the capacity, the creative capacity to envision a different world. And this is something we also want to do with the Matrix as well, because, and that's also something a lot of conspiracy theories do wrong. They paint this horrific image, which is true. They are very, very evil people in the world, but they say, okay, this is a horrific world. Wake up, the world is bad. But if you do that, there's no motivation for the people to actually wake up, because nobody wants to wake up to a nightmare, right? They want to wake up to a beautiful world. And so you need to show people, if you get through this realization of the Matrix, you can actually build a world that's better and more pure. And a lot of people are not offered this solution. They cannot envision a more bright and a brighter future, like a better world. And this is something that people like us need to first of all envision for ourselves, and then actually show others, right? So I think this might be the single biggest thing, because they know deep down inside that the world is not good, but they don't have the faith and the trust and the vision to anchor a more beautiful thing in themselves.
Makes sense. They probably feel kind of let down once they realize all these structures are like really for them, and so they feel kind of just like kind of lost, I imagine.
Yes, totally. Like it's almost like the world is literally crumbling. Like their reality, their sense of self, everything's like gone. You know, I mean, it's the big thing. You know, it's like one of the biggest journeys they can go through. Maybe probably the biggest.
Ray, do you have, I know you have a few questions. I have a few, and we'll get to as many as we can, but I'll let you ask another one before I go. Do you have something?
I was just gonna ask too that, we've all met at the completion process, which is, trauma resolution. I was wondering if you that stuff that you've learned that, and then I know you're into human design. Do you incorporate some of that stuff? Project.
Human design, no, but I am, just as your other guest a year ago, just as Rowan, I am a huge fan of parts work, and I will definitely put some parts work exercises, because I'm very good at doing parts work with myself, so I can instruct people on how to do it with themselves. I will include the ideas of parts work, the ideas of feeling, of the feeling body, and of using feeling to get through their shadows and to get through their deeper layers of resistance. I will include that in the course, in the first one.
And that
Yeah.
leads me to my question is, you say it's a business. And at first people, who might be listening will be like, this is a concept. This is a sticker, but it's so much more. And so this is a two-part question. Why are you coloring it as a business? Why did you decide to make it a business? And what is that model? Because you've alluded already to there might be coursework.
Yeah.
So
when we prepared the podcast a little bit yesterday already, like we talked a little bit about the first thing, but I'm gladly explaining that a little bit more here. Like what I said is that when you do something as a business, it becomes more neutral in a way. Like we talked about the fact that it's very passionate for us to try to convince people of how the world really is, and it's something that can be very triggering, and it's something that can be very exhausting also. But when you think of something as a business model, then you look at things in a different way. You're looking at, okay, what business convincing techniques do I need? How should my target audience be specifically, so I can sell them a specific product? And it's not like being like, okay, we're like those brutal capitalists. I mean, yeah, we want to make money out of it. I mean, I think that's a that's a valuable thing if you want to create abundance for yourself, in my opinion. I don't want to talk around that. But also it gives some like a certain kind of sobriety and clarity to our project, where we feel like, okay, to make this a profitable business, we have to be convincing in our marketing. We have to have a specific message. We have to have a specific target group, and this really helps, because the friend I'm doing this business with, he's also really into abundance and into business and stuff, and so we really use this kind of lens to focus our energy and to get the best out of our capacity. So that's the first part.
Yeah.
And the second part is my plan is to do 3 courses, and to do them also in a way where we learn from our previous successes to build the next course. So the first course is basically about how can I take our customer, take you, and like support you in your individual awakening journey out of the matrix into your abundant free life. So everything from sustainability, supplies when you want to prepare for the apocalypse, little chapter about that, then about breathing techniques, grounding yourself, then about what is your personal hero's journey. How do you go from your first challenge of this is a new journey, I'm invited to go this journey, to actually then walking it, to actually facing your shadows, facing your emotions, facing your traumas, facing your beliefs, and then actually anchoring with meditation and stuff, anchoring a new version of the world into our customers, of how the world they want to create could look like, and leading them with our tools through that process. So this is the first one. And then the second one is on a more interpersonal level, like how do I talk to other people who I have never reached before? How do I get the right communication skills to actually gently accompany people on their path? So it's more about like you and me, like how can I reach people like you and me who have been unsuccessful in reaching the people we love.
I like that.
And the third one is about creating a social movement. How can we create a successful social movement? And I'm using my knowledge of social psychology, because due to my studies, I have quite a few bits of information about that. How can we use the principles of social psychology, for example, to create a movement that cannot be pinned down as crazy right-wing conspiracy theorists, that is actually something more, something meta, something clever, And as you can see, like from the individual to the transpersonal to the group kind of idea, one builds on the other, right? We first need to master one to then get to the stage where we actually have the knowledge to teach the other things. So we're evolving. The plan is that we're also going to evolve while our business evolves.
This is reminding me of a conversation we had long ago on spiral dynamics.
A little bit, yes. I mean, it definitely incorporates the mix of individual and collective, because this is in both individual and collective problem we face, and we have to look at it at both on both layers, because if we don't, then we're missing each piece, right? It's interpersonal and individual and collective. It's like those different, in my opinion, right? So
Right. And I'll mention this at the end, but let me take a moment here as we're midstream to go to Instagram, folks. Pull it up now while you're listening. And it's the matrix dot is real.
yeah,
It auto populates. It did for me, easy to find. And
yeah. And you can see the sticker, like our profile pic has the sticker on it. So yeah.
yes, please like, follow, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Ray, questions?
Do you think the matrix itself, you said you think was purposely made with the intention to keep us enslaved? Do you think this was a purposely designed system for that? Or do you think it just came along that way because maybe the people who are power hungry, the people who did reach the top of the social, I don't know, pyramid, were just people who were just unconscious beings themselves, and it's just more of like a trickle down of their lack of awareness? Or do you think it's
yeah.
told us?
Okay, I mean, things are never like 100% black and white easy, in my opinion. So I couldn't say that it's completely one or completely the other. I would, first of all, 100% say that's much more purposeful than anybody than most people think. So if you like really start looking at things, and I have to be very honest, I'm sitting here and saying that so many more conspiracy theories are true than generally people think. I mean, like, I would say like half of the conspiracy that theories that are out there are actually true, you know, in my opinion. So there's a lot of purposefulness in there. At the same time, there's unconsciousness in there, because if the people would be, because you know, there's something different between the difference between being intelligent and being clever, I would say. Like, people who are doing this are very clever in a lower vibrational spiritual way. They don't know dark magic, they know those things, but if they would be really conscious, I mean, they wouldn't do this, right? So they are clever enough to use spiritual, they are initiated enough, let's say, to use certain spiritual teachings or to use certain energies or certain practices or rituals or something, but they are not initiated enough to actually know that they don't need them at all, right? So it's this weird mix, but on a certain level, they know that they are influencing the world, and they know that they do rituals for a certain reason and stuff like this. On this level, they're conscious, but that is also, in my opinion, not the majority of the people in general. First of all, most people who are following, they just have mild trauma, and that mild trauma is like little energetic holes in their aura that allows those systems to hook onto them. So most people are traumatized enough to be part of the system, but they're not so fucked up that they would actually purposefully create those things. So and it's also, you know, like, it's interwoven. Like, not everything in society is bad. I don't think that generally that there's governments and that there are leaders in our world that this is a bad idea, right? It's just a lot of the things that are corrupted. I mean, the church is corrupted, the politics are corrupted, the pharma industry is corrupted. Like, none of those things in and of itself are totally bad, right? But they're so corrupted right now that they're like, a lot of the time, like 85% bad. Like, it's like a bone structure of things that is like full with infested, corrupted flesh, and it's creating those zombie systems, basically. So so yeah, it's not like 100%, but you know what I'm trying to say, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that you touched on the minor trauma thing. It's so staggering to me how so many folks out there are still unwilling to acknowledge that word, to embrace that word. I had a good childhood. I had a good, my life is not nearly as bad as this person, or it was so in the dark with that, right? Like, it's and as I feel like as soon as, because it's so much easier to grab externally and to point fingers and this and that. And Ray and I talk about this on the Bodhi Bros all the time. We need that, and your movement, your business, the matrix is real. These type of things are so important because it turns the lens inside to the internal and says, let me focus on this so that I can make this, like you said, Tobias, beautiful. It doesn't have to be a nightmare, but until you can go in and see the beauty within, you can't create the beauty outside. That's the madness that's perpetuating itself.
The problem is, this is even the case for so many truthers, right? So many people who are into conspiracy stuff. Even those, a lot of the time, are not focusing enough on their own trauma and on their own pain. Even those are a lot of the time focused too much on the outward stuff. So it's like, and even when I recently chatted with Rowan, and she's like really hardcore with those things, and we agreed on the fact that it's like so many circles and kind of niches of people, like a spiritual community and this conspiracy community, where you think they're really advanced. A lot of the time they don't really look at their own deepest shadows yet. So it's really, I mean, there's like layers of fucked upness.
or
Mhm.
as I've recently uncovered too, there's layers, and Ray and I had an interesting conversation about this when it comes to bypassing too.
Yeah.
You can get so stuck in the focus
Yeah.
on trauma, and I got to dig in my
Yes.
shadow, that you
Yeah.
leave,
Also,
you totally ignore, you
yeah.
bypass the entire spectrum of joy, fun,
Yeah.
like they're abandoning the words good and bad. Emotions
I
are
mean,
emotions.
that's definitely why we want to also make this project exciting and fun as well, you know, like why we think like I want to start my current idea, and my business mate is on board with that, is to start it with a meditation where we anchor the people in a positive vision of what their world is going to be, and then lead them down into the shadow things. Because first I noticed, even with my girlfriend, I noticed that if you don't anchor somebody in light and faith, they have a harder time, and it's harder to motivate them to actually look at the shadow. So yeah, so I'm completely on board with that. So as I said.
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Ray,
agree.
you got another question on your list of questions?
Not really. I would just say, like, I agree. It's like sometimes, like, with those, the conspiracy stuff, I notice, like, when I go down some of those rabbit holes, I notice it kind of like lowers my vibe. It
Yeah.
kind of start to get kind of depressed, and I start to get kind of like angry and kind of just like,
Yeah.
almost like, I have to step away and do like that breathing work and kind of connect with the, go inward and connect with the light. I think that's, very important. Like what you're saying is, you have to have that
Yeah.
connection with that light, first maybe anchor yourself and then kind of go into that, look at that, all that stuff. Cause if not, it's just gonna bring you down.
And honestly, even in the Matrix itself, and I think that was intentional by the ones who created the movie, they didn't show the positive side. And that's funny, you know, like for everybody who knows the Matrix, they know that there's like this Matrix, and then there's this machine world where there's like the
Right.
machines and it's all destroyed and it's dystopia basically, but they don't show the possibility beyond that. And I think that's intention, because they want to scare people off a little bit. They're like, behind the Matrix, behind your illusion, there's just evil, you know. But
And you
that's
had
not true, you
that
know.
one guy in the movie too, that guy that like knew it was an illusion, but wanted that guy that
Yeah.
guy that traitor. He was like, I want back in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I mean,
I want to just go back in the illusion. I don't want to wake up.
I want to eat my steak.
Yeah.
Yes, this epic scene. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's true. And that happens when you don't show people the positive side. When you don't show like that you can rebuild the world, and then you can have beautiful flowers and sunshine and everything. So yeah, and the earth is rich, you know, and stuff like this.
Look, our favorite movie franchises are always gonna miss a few things. I mean, I held
Yeah,
Star Wars on a pedestal, and I still love Star Wars, but they do miss out on a few key places where they wouldn't even have to add very much,
yeah,
but they could just turn the screws and the bolts a little bit and make it beyond how incredible it already is.
yeah.
But that's another podcast for another day.
Yeah. I mean, it's speculation maybe if that's intentional or not. I would personally say that in the Matrix case, it is intentional, because because then those conspiracy movements were created. I mean, they came alive basically around the time of the Matrix, in my opinion. Like then that was the time when the language was born for the whole conspiracy movements.
Yeah.
So I think they made this intentional, but okay, we don't have to get hung up on this.
So let's we keep mentioning conspiracy theories and conspiracy
Yeah.
movements, and even as I was reading your bio,
Yeah.
you mentioned how the Matrix is real is going to be different. How do we discern between healthy conspiracy theory and like not healthy? Do you understand what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
direction maybe that you're going, because some might still say
Yeah.
your whole platform is conspiracy theory. But I would like to share this, and then tell me if you guys, both of you guys, agree or disagree. I heard this from a very wise woman lately, not lately, recently, but more than once. and she's shared the sentiment of why, it's almost like a question, right? Like a rhetorical, why are so many people throwing conspiracy theorists under the bus when in all of our favorite movies, all of the greatest heroes were essentially conspiracy theorists. Like they all came out and said, hey,
it's
something's
so much
wrong, something's
easier.
wrong, right?
It's so much easier to confront something in a movie, in a story, than in real life.
Right.
when
People
it
don't
actually,
people want to step out of that comfort zone of
Yeah.
being accepted, and they don't want to be judged, and they don't want to, you know, be ostracized and look crazy.
Yeah. That's also a social psychological thing, as I said. I mean, that's exactly what you said, Ray. I mean, the term conspiracy theorist, like, it now refers to a socially stigmatized group of people, right? They successfully managed to create a like lower status group of people who are like crazy and who are not like scientific and stuff like this, you know. So this is the thing you have to address first and foremost, right? But you also asked another question: how can you discern between good and bad conspiracy theories, or what was the question? Can you say it again?
Right. Well, basically, because you said, you know, in
Yeah.
your mission is like we're
Yeah.
it's a different movement. We're not
Yeah.
focused on conspiracy theory movements. We're doing it this way.
So yeah. So okay. So my answer to that would be, I would refer to, there's one great YouTuber, a woman who is really good with words, and she's really initiated spiritually, in my opinion. And what she does is she can say those things and be honest about it, and at the same time not kick you into fear. And this is really an art, because you notice a lot of the people are not self-aware enough to notice when they're just putting their own fear back out into the world. A lot of people, and so the question is why you share something, right? A lot of people share the conspiracy theories because they don't want to be alone with it. They just want to share their own fear, like publicly, like, okay, I cannot carry it all myself, like you carry something of it, right?
Right.
So this is, just look at the intention behind it and the energy it carries and what you feel while consuming some content. When I consume the content of Rowan, for example, or of the other woman I just talked about, I feel grounded rather than shocked and fearful. And so this is something we also want to create. I mean, there's a little bit of shock. I think it's fine, and it's also not avoidable, but it shouldn't be the main thing, you know? It should be like clarity and rawness. This should be the energy. And then guidance also. But a lot of those people are not initiated themselves enough to provide this kind of guidance. They don't have kind of a red thread. They don't have a structure. They don't have a system. They don't have a pathway. They just say, oh my God, the world is evil. And then they drop this knowledge like shitting onto your front doorstep, and then they run away, you know?
Right, like lighting the bag of shit on fire and just running away.
And I mean, this is not grown up, you know, and we need to reach those people as well and say, like, okay, the way you're doing it, it's just doesn't fucking work.
Right. Not discourage them from sharing their fears and their truths, but
but discern, you know, like say, okay, when do I want to teach somebody? When do I want to guide them? And when do I just want to share my emotions? They mix those up, and this doesn't go together, you know? Like you either do one thing, you either guide somebody, or you sit together in a kind of sharing circle and actually say that I feel fucking afraid. I feel that the world is going to end. You know, that's fine as well, but don't confuse the two, right? They are different things, different modalities.
Yeah. We are now entering our final 9 minutes and 42 seconds. So, Tobias, I'll give you an opportunity. Is there anything that we haven't touched about the project, about the business, about the direction that you want to, what's next beyond Instagram, like whatever you'd like to talk about? I'll give you a few minutes. And if Ray or I come up with any last minute questions, we'll hit you with that.
Yeah. So first of all, we're going to have a website as well. It's going to launch probably alongside our first course in the next few months. After Christmas, we start working on that. So that's one thing. The other thing is basically No, I don't. The funny thing is we talked already about so many things. I don't have much to share. I mean, definitely if you want, I mean, you said that already. If you want to support us and check the Instagram account out, I'd really appreciate it. We both would really appreciate it because we're just at the beginning. We're also new to this, and it's a whole new adventure figuring it all out.
Right.
And honest feedback is always appreciated. We're definitely not perfect yet, and probably going to take some while to really find our own way there. And yeah, I think that's basically what I have to share now. Yeah, I don't know. I
So
don't have much else.
as far as like the stickers and stuff, can you get those through Instagram? Is there a link or anything?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
okay.
basically text us and we'll send them to you. So we already have a price chart there. We don't send them to the US so
Okay.
far because
Okay.
that would be probably very expensive with
Yeah,
shipping.
we didn't talk about that.
Um,
Tobias
um,
hails from Germany. That's where, so we have
yeah, I'm from
Ohio, Florida, and Germany today.
yeah, so like yeah, you're more America based, but we would sell them throughout whole Europe because that's reasonably affordable. So we can do that, but America not as of right now. Although I mean we to be honest, like we're not expecting like the big sales in the recent future because those stickers, like to be honest, like merch becomes relevant when the brand becomes relevant, like we first working on Instagram and then on our course, and we're also going to do an ask campaign. So this maybe I can write about that for the first course. So if you're interested about the content about what I talked about and about your own awakening journey, or maybe even about somebody else's, um, we're gonna have an ask campaign and we're gonna advertise that on Instagram as well, where we ask, okay, what's your biggest obstacle with your awakening journey, or where would you want to help or support? And then we're gonna collect this and we're gonna use this structure to like design our course, and we're going to have free spots for the ones who take part in the ask campaign for the course itself for the first one. So
I love that. That's
this
a
might
great
be
idea.
this might be interesting. So because yeah, that's that we got that idea from an awesome book about business, and
Yeah.
we thought it would be great because it's good to for both sides. It's good, right? So because we
Yeah.
need it,
Yeah.
like we need like the feedback from the people who we're trying to reach, and so that's this one of the most important things. So if you want to take part in that, feel free to just text us on or send us your email on the Matrix is Real
Hmm.
the Instagram. Then we're gonna put you on a list and send it to you once it's relevant.
Awesome. Ray, you got anything else?
Not really. It sounds good, man. It sounds like a really good movement. It sounds like, you're guiding people through their awakening, empowering them to guide and to help awaken others, and then hopefully, build that community of awakened souls and just, make a much better world. So I like it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
And then
man.
I have to say honestly, like one thing personal share about the whole thing, like creating a business is one. I mean, I don't know how business like your podcast is, but like creating a project of your own business is self-development and kind of shadow work task in and of itself, because it's like confronting oneself with insecurities, with doubts, with okay, really knowing in all clarity what my purpose, what my vision is, and putting it out there. It's also quite a kind of a masculine thing in my opinion. So
Yeah, man.
that has been exciting for me and my friend, also like connecting uh, together and trying to create something together where we both feel like okay, our input is seen and valued, and yeah, just to
Totally,
share that.
man.
So it's also
Forward moving energy, inspired
yeah,
action. It's good, man. Yeah, Ray and I, every week we feel like we're constantly learning and unlearning things
yeah,
and having shadows presented to us. And then a lot of it comes up and because we pull cards too. So like a lot of it just reveals itself like, yeah,
yeah, you do, yeah.
I mean, so it's been great. And yeah, building a business. I really, yeah, dude, from my heart to yours, man. Congratulations. Excited about where it goes, and we'll have you back again as you progress and you add more things, because I feel like this once a year thing is cute, but like we definitely want to connect with more like-minded souls and help them build their communities and in turn help us build ours and really start to grow together. That's why I love this this ask campaign is so smart, dude. I love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't the inventor of it, but I definitely like the idea as well. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's also a good format when you have a guest on your show. I think it goes well, you know, like it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's always fun. Good. And I'm glad our first two people were such giants as far as bright spirits are concerned and doing incredible work, man. Like, hey, we love you guys and we want to support the both of you in all that you endeavor to do because we see you, man. And thank you for taking the time and the energy that it took today to be a part of this. And Ray, as always.
Thank you. I mean, honestly.
This is the three of us have been the three amigos back together again. Right. I feel like I need my cup of tea. Where's my tea?
I don't have my cup of gin today, as I thought yesterday. But
right.
It doesn't matter.
Well, we met over morning gatherings and yerba mate and staying in this beautiful house in Utah together.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And how long? So 2.5 years ago, we're here. Funny because we joked about doing a podcast and then Tobias and I did
you like did it every day. You joked about it every day, like tea time with
manifested the shit out of that, didn't we? And here we are, man. So good times, great to be together and I look forward to whatever we co-create moving forward. And without any further ado, I'm John with a J.
Phoenix Ray.
Follow our friend Tobias on Instagram. The Matrix is real. Please and thank you. We'll see you soon, folks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.